Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Off the Cuff. Off the Cuff is where I do an off the cuff review about a book or a CD or an album or a movie that I've just consumed. I've not taken the time to write any notes down or really think deeply on it outside of the time I thought about it when I was reading it. So this is one of those interviews coming at you right now. Interviews. Anyways, my off-the-cuff review is about Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. This is a very good book. I've never read any of Chuck's work in the past, so this is pretty fresh. I really liked it. Might have to look into some more of his stuff down the road, but I would say, talking about strictly about this book, I enjoyed it very much. It read like early on. It was reminded me of like, okay, this is like a Stephen King Needful Things kind of thing, and it's all going to end, in a blaze of fire and all that stuff. Well, in the course of this book, the characters are all very interesting. The antagonists, the protagonists, some maddeningly so, the terrible, but portrayed really well. The characters really kind of came off the page for me. But yeah, definitely the dysfunctional relationships inherent in some of those situations, was pretty hard. And then with the influence of, whatever in the book, intensifies and gets meaner, it's a word that's kind of mentioned quite a bit in this book, meaner. This book kind of has it all. It's a bit of a treasure hunt. It's also a bit of a thriller. Well, I don't know. Yeah, suspense. The suspense, waiting for the shit to fucking happen. It definitely has horror elements. There's paranormal or supernatural elements. Phantasmagorical, we'll say. I like the old term. So anyways, this book read pretty well, pretty quickly. You can't really tell by the title of it, Black River Orchard, but if you look at the picture, really small there, you can see a little apple hanging on a black tree in the background. So really, this book is about apples and the obsession of. It's definitely a passion project, as you'll find out in the acknowledgments at the end of the book, but I kind of figured it out while reading the book. You will learn this book, you will learn more about apples and aspects of apples than you've ever known or thought possible in the past. Period. So it's very interesting. It dips a little bit between, the present and a few times in the past and all that. I really enjoyed this book. I don't really want to give anything away about the book other than, apples. There's a special apple, but, the apple comes with strings attached, definitely there's a dark character all there. They're portrayed not as dark, but very bright and white. That I like a lot, and I'm wondering if at some point, Chuck Wendig, takes that character and instigates some shit in some other story, not about apples, and no, let's not switch over to the pears, but like in a different way, a different story, but to have, and I'll say his character's name, Edward Nibirius, seems pretty interesting, There is a kind of a quirky chapter in the book. It only happens once, and it's done completely from the perspective of an outdoor cat. who lives in the barn, who makes friends with the neighbor's indoor cat, who sometimes is allowed to come outside, out back, you know, and how the cat is like, you know, he's going back around different areas. I better keep an eye on him, you know, like he's a house cat, you know, he could die out here, you know. So that was kind of interesting. I liked that. There's a lot to love about this book. The characterizations are all pretty interesting and diverse, for sure. The portrayal of the teenaged characters in this book was very interesting, and we'll say to 2023 standards of, you know, what's acceptable for teenagers and all that, and also, you know, the ability to change with some of that stuff. But very interesting book. I would highly recommend you pick up Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. This is a library copy. If I owned every book I ever read, I would have no room to move. So I accept and love and appreciate the library for that. Support your local libraries. But buy a copy. If I had bought this copy, I would not feel burned. I would keep the copy, you know. So anyways, until another off-the-cuff review, we'll see you then. Bye.